I get so much hate on this channel for siding with Ian Garry and enjoying Ian Garry's career and liking the guy. I'm gonna sit here and tell you today why I think he's literally living the dream and why his life could not have gone any more perfect. This is just down to conversations I've actually had with him on Instagram when he was first coming up, when he first joined the UFC. He started training in Florida, and I was very curious of how an Irish guy who grew up outside of Dublin can be training now all of a sudden in Florida after winning a Cage Warriors world title, and how he could afford to do that, and how, he lived there for so many months with no visa complications. This type of thing that plays on my mind, and I was very curious of it. And it's led him to where he is today. He's now 8-0 in the UFC, which is incredible, with 3 finishes, and he's 15-0 as a professional mixed martial artist. I'd say not the most devastating prospect to come out of Ireland, because that was obviously McGregor, but on this world level, he's definitely number 2. Obviously, you have a few good guys like Paul Hughes and all this who have just signed for the PFL, but I don't really class that as the greatest organisation. They will literally give you cans to build you up. But that doesn't matter, that's irrelevant. I'm here today to tell you, no matter whether you love or hate Ian Garry, in this video I want you to listen to what I'm saying and understand that the man's career and how it's played out is perfect, and he's living the dream. And if 80% of you that are watching this video right now stay to the end, I will have convinced you that, you know what, if that was me in that position, I would have done the same things. And all the evidence we have now gives us no reason to hate on the man for his lifestyle choices, because we would all go down that route. You might not make the same decisions while on that route, but you would all have done the same thing from the start, and you might have not been in agreement with certain decisions that he made around nowadays or in the past year or two, but at the start you would have done exactly what he done if you're an aspiring mixed martial artist and you're a world champion in Cage Warriors wanting to take your career to the next level. He did exactly what we need to do. Listen to me here, folks. A few years ago, I think this was about 2 or 3 years ago now, I commented, it must be 3 years ago, I commented on an Ian Garry Instagram post. It was a picture of him, and the caption was literally like, living the dream out in Florida, whatever it was. It's when he was still training at Kilcliff, or Sanford, MMA. And I said to him in the comments, "Hi Ian, can I just ask, how have you managed to afford the move out to the States, obviously being from a small town in Ireland?" And he said after he met his wife, she financially supported him to move out to Florida, and she paid for everything. Now, you can say sugar mummy, you can say whatever, you can say what sort of a man would allow that, which a lot of people do say about the guy, but if you're a world champion in Cage Warriors and you meet someone, and Layla has admittedly said, look, it was meant to be a one-night stand, but then they fell in love, and you fall hopelessly in love, and maybe that is a thing, love at first sight, you just click with that person. That's what they did, and then obviously they moved to Florida together. Ian Garry allowed that to happen. He said, yes, absolutely, Layla, I will pay you back. I'd imagine that's how the conversation went. They went to Florida. He's undefeated. I think he was 7 or 8-0. I think 7-0 at the time. He's a professional. Sanford MMA, a gym with like 8 of the top 15 welterweights in the world train at. And he just got stuck in. He trained there. He had 4 fights under them. And everything was going swimmingly, So that's the first part of my little breakdown. I'm just kind of telling you the story. If you were a little Cage Warriors world champion, maybe 7-0, and you meet this lady, she's a little bit older, she's a model, she says to you, look, I will financially support you. I love you. Let's go out and live in Florida. I will train. I will let you train, and you can do your thing or whatever. You would be stupid to say no. You'd obviously feel quite guilty. I mean, I would anyway. But you can't deny the fact that every single one of you, if you guys are aspiring mixed martial artists and you're training out of a shitty small gym in England, Ireland, Scotland, anywhere in the UK or Europe, being handed that on the plate saying, you will not have to worry about your finances. I will pay for you to live and train in this country, and you will fight in the UFC. And that's what they did. And they moved out. He had his first fight in the UFC. He obviously is making more than her now, I'd imagine. I'd reckon Ian Garry's probably on 100 and 100. He's probably making 200 grand a fight, I'd say. I'd say something like that. Being top 10 in the world. I'd say 100, maybe 175 and 175, something like that. Because I know Moicano's on 500,000 a fight to show and to win. And Moicano's been in the UFC a long time. He never touched gold or never really been in the top 5 of lightweight. He was at featherweight, obviously, so that's interesting. let me say this. That happened, and then obviously the whole stuff with the nutritionist came out, and then he changed his name, and it was rumored to be the ex-husband's name, which it's not. It's Layla's other son's name, who she did have with his nutritionist, right? This is the bit that kind of I don't like about this whole situation, but it's down to personal preference, and you can call him a cock all you want. And I know Layla's a very polarizing figure. She's very opinionated. She's very well spoken. She's smart, which he has openly said that's what he loves about her. I think she's a bit too involved. She supports him to a new extreme, but I think that's just her personality, and he likes that. And who are we to speak on people's family choices? He's living the dream. He's now training in Brazil in the sun with his family around him, and he's got this great team, and he's learning Portuguese. He's practically fluent in it. I think all these hate comments are completely irrelevant, and you know, everyone's saying like BBL Garry, the cut Garry, calling me the new Ian Garry because I support him. I don't think that's on. I think whatever you guys say, you're just bitter, jealous haters. Realistically, you don't have to agree with his life choices, but you have to respect he's 8-0 in the UFC. And bear in mind, I've made videos on Ian Garry saying I'm not a fan anymore, I don't like this, and then I actually did my research like a normal, regular person, and now I'm back on the train, and I have been for a few years now. So it is what it is. I mean, I definitely think it did get to him at the start, but now it's died down a bit. His Instagram comments are back on, and we can start moving forward. But I do really, really like Ian Garry. I think he's very promising as a prospect. Does he beat Leon Edwards? At the moment, I don't know. He says he's going to be there in July in case the fight falls out so he can step in. I would love to see Ian Garry Bilal Muhammad. I think he would beat Bilal, to be honest. He would just be too long for him and move too much, I feel. I don't think Bilal's fought a mover. You can say whatever you want about Leon Edwards. Leon Edwards is not a mover. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson isn't a mover. He will stand in front of you and go forward and back. The same way Edwards will stand in kind of that English Muay Thai style and move fast if he needs. I think welterweights are very static, and I think people don't actually think they are. Look, there we go. He's now living in Brazil. He's training hard. I just wanted to get that off my chest. You know, if any of you were slagging him off, he's living the absolute dream. There's no need to hate on him. You can hate his personality, but don't hate his lifestyle choices, because you guys would have made the same things. Maybe the nutritionist thing is a bit funky, but you know, he's been very likable his last fight week, and I think people are ignoring that, and only some people are recognising it. Subscribe. Thank you.